that in engineering college there is a lot of competition for one-sided relationship. That's how I stumbled into one-sided relationship. But then I was devastated.
Sandeep Vaswani has spent decades inspiring people across continents. He's a top HR influencer in India, an alumnus of PwC, and currently a director of people and organization at a multinational consulting firm. Don't waste this time of life.
But unfortunately, what is happening is with so much access to these intoxicants, a lot of youngsters are falling into these short-term temporary pleasures.
Beyond the titles, he has committed himself to a larger purpose, bringing joy to thousands of lives through his work with the Art of Living Foundation.
You be a sincere seeker. Basically, having that open mind, having that attitude to learn, and being in that space of I may know something, but I do not know everything.
The more you know, the more the unknown grows. I am Jitesh Vaswani, your host, and together, let's take this journey beyond the known.
Sandeep, we welcome you to the show.
Thank you, Jitesh.
This is for the first time that we are being this formal with each other. Generally speaking, we are very chill, but for the sake of this conversation, we're going to maintain a little bit of that formality. So let's start at the very beginning. Yeah. When was your introduction to meditation? How does a person who is studying electronics and communication at a top engineering school in the country come across a meditation class? And how do those two lives blend into each other?
You know, my first introduction to meditation was through my father, and my father actually went through the meditation program. Our father, he went through the meditation program somewhere in the late 90s and early 2000, and that's when I was finishing my schooling, and he kind of found it so cool that he wanted to push me into it. But you know, like any youngster in those days, I thought I could teach the meditation teacher to be happy rather than they teaching me, to be happier. So I resisted meditation for 2 years, and my father kept on pushing me. And you would remember that you were still in your early childhood days, and he kind of stoked you into it. I was the only one left in the family who had no experience of it. But you know, when I was in my T school, which is National Institute of Technology, suddenly I was sitting in my advanced mathematics lecture, and this professor of ours comes in just in between teaching integration and differentiation. He starts talking about that, breath and your mind is connected. As soon as your emotions change, your breathing pattern changes. And I thought, what the hell is he talking about in an integration and differentiation session? And I thought, I've heard this before, and then suddenly he says, there is a very cool Art of Living program that is going to happen in the campus, and there is a special teacher who's going to come from Bangalore. And I thought, oh my God, do young people also enroll into it? And being in a technology school and in first years, we had nothing better to do in the evenings. So I checked to my person on the left and right. I said, would you come along? He said, even the girls' hostel closes in the evening. So maybe this is a chance to interact with everybody. And I thought, I have had some good reviews about it.
Yeah.
So I just stumbled into it into my first year of engineering while I was doing that. And the experience was fantastic. There's been no turning around.
Did you stick to it right away, or did you need some convincing?
Well, I found the program really good. In fact, as I told you on the last day of the program, I called my dad, our dad, and I told him that I did the Art of Living program, and he was so happy. But by that time, he had got a little disconnected. So I told him I did the program, and it was a surprise for him because I did not tell him that I was doing the program, and he was so happy about it. And immediately in that call itself, I told him that I am thinking of being an Art of Living teacher. And he said, hold, come on, where are you going so far away? Just practice this. But then over time, I got a bit disconnected, practiced it for a few days, got a bit disconnected. But then, any college guy goes through some kind of failures, be it in relationships or be it in exams. Something struck, and that kind of pushed me back.
Let's go there because I feel like I've not heard this story. Do other people know about this story?
Yeah, that's the level to which they know.
So interestingly enough, both him and I, we have gone to the same school. We're obviously in the same home, but we went to the same school, same university, same college. So I think up till almost 22 years of age, we have had the same life, but just 5 years apart.
Yeah.
Right. So I took the same program in the same college, in the same university, and I heard about it from the same professor who stopped right in between that same class, the integration and differentiation class, and he started talking about this. So that was kind of, my introduction was a little bit sooner, but I've gone through the same process though.
Yeah, yeah.
So what made you stick to it? So let's go into that a little bit more.
Yeah. So as I said, the competition in college is really high.
In relationship
Yeah,
sense or in exam sense?
That's what I'm coming to. That you start off with exams, but you see that in engineering college there is a lot of competition for relationships as well, and there's a lot of competition for one-sided relationship that happens as well. So that's how I stumbled into one-sided relationship that did not happen, like it happens for so many engineering students there in college. But then I was devastated. I used to top my school. I used to top my university first year's exams. I was genuinely one of those guys who used to love studying, researching, and when this relationship breakup kind of happened, or one-sided, heartbreak kind of happened, it just devastated me. So I was not able to concentrate. I was not able to sleep properly. I was having a bad time. So somebody who used to score very good in exams, in my second semester, I almost flunked. That is when the advanced mathematics professor appeared again in the class, and he said, emotions and breath is linked to each other, and there's once again the art of living teacher is coming to campus, and that's when I thought, just let me just go there. And I just went and sat there on the first day of the program, and I did not really participate. I just sat with my eyes closed. Just being in that presence of meditators just gave me so much of relief and just gave me so much of healing to my system. And of course, in just 5 days, I was out of that phase that, that was bothering me a lot. And it just made me jump back into mainstream life. It gave me that enthusiasm back. It gave me that joy and energy back. That is when on the last day I again called my father. And I said, this time I am going to be an art of living teacher for sure. Yeah.
Sometimes it takes like an intense situation in life to kind of appreciate the relief. Like you need stress to kind of appreciate the peace, right? And I know a lot of college students and maybe even older folks, they go through this one-sided love scenario, and especially I think in India it's very common.
Because I think it's common across the world.
Common across the world, I think. But I feel like in India people don't express it as easily, right? A lot of times they hold it inside of them, and because they don't express it, and then they have these fantasies going on in their head. Now, a youngster who's watching this, and maybe let's say they're going through something like this, from your experience, what is one advice that you would give now, right? Now you're very well settled and everything. So looking back 10, 20 years, I don't know how long ago.
I think 22 years.
22 years ago. So somebody watching this who's looking at you, and how do they deal with one-sided love?
So I would say that expectations reduce the joy of life. Yeah. You've been expecting too much, and once those expectations break, you kind of go through that distress. But once you go through that distress, somewhere you need a vent out.
Yeah.
Right. Somewhere you need a medium to kind of let go things up. a lot of people stumble into habits which don't serve them. Like a lot of people become alcoholic, smokers, even take up drugs, just to kind of deal with this situation. But I was fortunate enough that I had this opportunity and I had this leeway out, which made my habits more serving, which was uplifting. Yes. So everybody needs a vent out. It's just about you choose the right medium to kind of get out of that situation.
Yeah. Yeah. And also it takes a certain level of intelligence, right? Because I remember my college days, and it's a very common theme, right? People go through heartbreaks all the time. And it's very true and unfortunately very sad that a lot of the youngsters in this country are stuck in the cycle of alcoholism and drugs and drug abuse. Not just in taking drugs for a one-off thing, but actually abusing drugs, right? Like I know there were people in my hostel who would be high for days altogether. They would not even know what day it is, and it's like a waste of human life, I think.
Yeah, I agree. In our scriptures, it is said that youth is the time when you have a lot of energy.
Right.
Youth is the time when you have a lot of zeal, you have a lot of enthusiasm. And this is the time when you can actually bring a change to the society, bring a change to the country. And in the scriptures, it says that don't waste this time of life. But unfortunately, what is happening is with so much access to these intoxicants, a lot of youngsters are falling into these short-term temporary pleasures, not realizing that this is the time that they could have used to build something new, to build a company, to be creative, to make a change in the society, to employ a lot of people, to do something very creative and grow the country and grow themselves as well.
How do we educate these people, these kids? Because I feel like a lot of them are just dumb. Like they're so, for the lack of better word, they're so thick-skinned and thick-minded that it's hard to get through them. And I think the only place where I've seen people get through them is the Art of Living program, and is the Art of Living teachers, because I think they're trained so well to kind of bring it out of them, like bring that awareness out of them. But in terms of the bigger picture, I feel, how do you get across someone who doesn't even want to change?
Yeah. Gurudev Shri Shri Ravi Shankar puts it very beautifully. Somebody who's sleeping, it is very easy to wake them up.
Yeah.
But somebody who is acting, if they are sleeping, you can do anything, but they'll not wake up. Yes. Definitely, I agree that there is a lot that needs to be done. Consciously, from an inner voice, somebody needs to realize that, there's something wrong, or my habits are taking me spirally downwards.
Yeah.
I need to somewhere break this pattern. At least that kind of conscious awareness needs to come in for somebody to come in and help.
I feel like a person is basically a sum total of choices and circumstances.
Yeah.
Right? Do you think it's more choice based that people are stuck there, or is it more circumstance based? Like in certain parts of the country where there's high amounts of poverty, lack of education, or even lack of the ability to dream, right? Because if somebody comes from, let's say, not a well-to-do family, that's okay, as long as they have the vision and the ability to dream that I want to get to a certain place. But do you think is this the circumstances which is forcing people to just behave in a certain way and not do things which are useful for them, or is it choices?
I think while it is a combination of both, we have to dive a little deeper. We have to see what are the kind of mental neural patterns that they have drawn for themselves. what have been the kind of habits that they have been practicing since childhood.
Yeah.
Now, if we go a little subtler, we'll get to know that what are the kind of impressions that they have. Or in Sanskrit, we say, what are the sanskaras?
Right.
Yes. Now, a sanskara is something that will drive your thought process. Your thought process will, in turn drive your action.
Right.
Now, what meditation does is it starts loosening up the sanskaras in the head, starts loosening up the impressions in the head. Now, once that starts happening, so it's a spiral process, right? Once the impressions start loosening up, the unserving habits kind of start going down, and you can then fill up the cup with a more clear liquid, the more serving habits, good habits that kind of start uplifting you. So we have to kind of look at how do we release those neural pathways, neural patterns that have hardened over time.
It's like they have a grip on people, and we need to somehow, get to them at the level of their mind and intellect, somehow appeal to that side, that okay, so that they can think critically for their own life, for their own benefit. And meditation is, of course, we are both products of meditation, and that's one easy way to get access to that. So now, how do we make it easily available to people whose circumstances don't allow? I think in India it's pretty easy. You can go to YouTube. What do you think?
Yeah, it's easy. We have a beautiful app now called the Sattva app, which is free for everybody. Everybody can download. There are about 300 meditations for different circumstances. You're feeling angry, you're feeling you're not able to sleep properly, you are getting that anxiety attack. Just put on that for 10 minutes and you'll start feeling much better.
Yeah. Now, in order for that same youth, a youngster who might be watching this, in order for them, for somebody like that to become successful, let's say somebody who's watching this is in a university, is in a college setting, what are some habits that they should have or that they can build right now in order to project success 10 years from where they are?
Yeah. So while it depends upon what is the definition of success,
Right.
So while you remember that talk we used to give about success definition being 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Yeah.
5-figure salary per month, 4-bedroom house, 3 cars, 2 children, 1 wife. But if there is no 0, we cannot really enjoy that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that 0 is having 0 stress in life.
Right.
So while a lot of them right now across the world are striving for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, but while creating that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, if there is no 0, like no 0 stress, you are not able to enjoy what you have created.
Right.
So if I might have built a beautiful home, the best of chandeliers, the best of matrices, but if I'm not able to sleep properly on it, if I'm walking in anxiety below it, I am not enjoying what I created.
Yeah.
Now, this is one aspect. Second, success has to be sustainable, right? One, it has to give you happiness, joy. At the same time, you need to have good health to kind of keep it sustainable.
Right.
And at that age, it is very important. One, we already spoke about the habits. Second is the kind of discipline. If you can get in discipline into your system, now whether it is discipline in lifestyle, whether it is discipline in your thoughts, whether it is discipline in being with that company of people who are dreamers.
Yeah.
Just making sure that you have that right company. You know that we say, a person is a sum total of 5 people that they spend their time with, and it's actually true, because we have those mirror neurons, inside us. We start reflecting each other's thought process.
Yeah.
The kind of people we are with, they either can uplift us or they can kind of pull us down. So, because the mirror neurons, they start reflecting the thought process. So, one, of course, dream big. Gurudev Shri Ravi Shankar says, have a big vision, but at the same time have deep roots.
Yeah.
Yes. So dream big for the world. Yes. At the same time, to achieve that dream, stay disciplined. Discipline will take you there where motivation won't.
Yeah.
Yeah. If motivation gives you huge spouts of energy, discipline is that steady energy which will take you far.
Do you see those qualities reflected in your peers who also might be successful? Like, do you think that everybody who has reached a certain level of success materially has some elements of all of this?
Indeed.
Yeah.
Accountability and integrity are two things which are the most, they are the most uncommon or undervalued, but they are actually the most important. Integrity means I will deliver what I promise.
Right.
I will deliver what I say. And actually this has been there in our scriptures.
Yeah.
Raghukul read sada chal aayi, pran jai par vachan na jai. Now this phrase, this is from the days of Ramayana, Ramcharitmanas. What does it signify? It signifies integrity. That I have said one thing, I have promised one thing, and I am going to hold myself accountable for it. And this is what is reflected in professionalism. What is professionalism today? I will deliver what I have promised. Even just one small little aspect can take you really far away. Now, what is it that becomes a hindrance in this? Is your wavering mind. Is lots of thoughts in the mind, lack of focus, lack of clarity, lack of decision making. And meditation and breath work really helps us, get rid of those tendencies and practice these competencies which make you successful materially in the outside world, at the same time give you that inner peace inside.
And also, I think lack of vision.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes people have a clear mind, but they don't have a goal, or they don't plan 10 steps ahead, right? Is there something that people can do to also do that?
I think it's very personal to everybody.
Yeah.
And they need to find their own purpose.
Yes. Finding purpose is a big thing, right? Because I think without a purpose, it's like we're just living, existing, right? Without having some sort of what I'm working towards.
Yeah. The why of that is very important.
Yeah.
Why am I doing what am I doing? Why am I studying here? Is it just because everybody is doing so? Or why am I going to take up a job? Or why am I going to start up a business? Or why am I going to invest in a new product? The why of everything is really important, because that why serving your purpose? Because if that why is serving your purpose, there's going to be no conflict inside. But if you are doing something which is not serving your purpose, then you are just going in a direction where you're just pushing hard. So you're not able to realize the dream that you actually set out to be. Your true potential doesn't get realized.
Makes sense. I think it's important to build that level of thinking even in college and universities. Like, I wish universities would teach this more to our students, to the younger generation, wherever in the world, to be able to handle your own mind, to develop this sort of critical thinking for your own life. And I feel like it goes hand in hand. Like, now I feel like the world has started to wake up a little bit, and I'm noticing it more and more often. There is this breed of conscious, successful people who are successful, and they're not, then they don't treat themselves in that old traditional way of that I'm going to grind and I'm going to suffer as I'm grinding it. Like, you don't have to suffer as you are hustling towards whatever level of success or whatever you are choosing or something.
Yeah. You can hustle while being happy. You don't need to hustle to be happy. You can be happy and you can decide to hustle.
Hey, a quick pause. If you're listening to this and thinking, I need more peace in my day, more clarity in my mind, then I'll really encourage you to check out The Art of Living. The Art of Living offers a technique called sky breath meditation, used by CEOs, pro athletes, and high performers around the world to recharge their energy, clear that mental fog, and reset the nervous system in minutes. They offer programs both online and in person. It is science-backed and it works. Head to artofliving.org to learn more.
Yeah. So now going back to your journey, right? Circling, we took a nice detour, very useful detour. So going back to your journey, so you were in university, college, you attended the program for the second time, and this time it struck a chord inside of your heart. Now from that point, right, and maybe that gave you that vision that, okay, I want to teach this to people. So how was that journey from practicing Sudarshan Kriya to now teaching Sudarshan Kriya? What challenges did you face, and do you see people face?
While I was practicing this technique and while I was going through these self-exploration programs, there was definitely a sense of that this is something that I really want to do. This is how I want to share my life with people. While I decided that I would do everything else, of course, build up a successful career, go into the top B school, and have those kind of job offers. Today I'm interacting with CXOs across the world. It's an opportunity, it's a blessing that I'm getting to interact with CXOs across the world. But I felt that I need that there was something missing in everybody's life. And I thought, what I have received, why not spread it to others? A challenge that people feel is that we may not be able to balance our lives. We may not be able to give time to our family while serving others, or we may not be able to enjoy our life while doing this, or how will we balance our careers doing this? I say everything is possible. I once heard Gurudev Shri Shri Ravi Shankar ji say that he said, do not limit your capabilities. In your head, you should know that everything is possible. Everything is possible. And at a subtle level, once your thinking starts getting like that, it starts manifesting in the outside world.
Interesting. So it starts at the level of the thought and inside subconscious. This is a very different way of living. Most people live outside to in, but if people can start living inside to out, I think it can make like a big difference in their life.
Yeah.
So the biggest challenge that you see is all at the level of the mind.
Yes. At the thinking
Mindset.
level.
Yeah.
At the thinking level, you're sorted. The outside life is a reflection. So while it might take time, but an organized mind will create an organized life.
Yeah. Sometimes I feel like people stumble across the way. It's never like a straight journey, right? Like it's like a sine curve. There's ups and downs. So what are some outside world challenges that people generally face, and how did you face any? If not, that's okay. And then how did you overcome them? And what do people face?
So an important aspect that I have observed is that while you benefit from these practices and while you kind of learn a lot, and there are important life events that kind of make you go away. Like you would be practicing meditation, but your first job, you just started your career, the routine kind of takes a hit. Right? Or your first relationship or your marriage, again, it's a newer aspect of life, and you say that, okay, can I take a break from it? Or suddenly if you have been laid off from the job and you might think that, oh my God, do I now need to focus upon getting back on track? So should I leave practicing mindfulness and meditation? So some of these life events that we unnecessarily give a lot of value in the head, they can sometimes act as stumbling blocks. But of course there are in our scriptures there are certain stumbling blocks which are given, which is sometimes the disease of the body, which is said vyadhi, and like in Patanjali Yoga Sutras, Patanjali Muni has given 9 such obstacles. You see, that is more in terms of moving deeper into the path. But I have seen any life event while it is making change to your life, that is the time where your commitment needs to be more stronger towards your practices, because it is like sharpening a knife. You know, you might take, if you have a blunt knife, you might keep on attempting slicing an apple and you might feel busy, but you're not being productive, isn't it? You might feel busy slicing an apple and the apple doesn't cut. But if you take just a little bit of time to kind of sharpen that knife, the apple just slices off in a second.
Right.
So, making sure that you take out the time for yourself, it is like sharpening your knife.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in any aspect of life, that is going to serve you.
So you did that. You became an art of living teacher, right? But you also travel personally with Gurudev a lot, right? What's one story that you can share that you have, with our audience, that you have experienced, time with him, that maybe you have shared before, but something that you can share with our audience?
I once was traveling with him, and this is a story about 12 years back. I once was traveling with him from Bangalore to Delhi, and he asked me this one question that, how many volunteers do you have? And how many volunteers? And I kind of, and this was several years back, so I said, "Oh, Gurudev, I have these many number of volunteers." And suddenly he looked into the sky, into the stars. We were on a flight, and he says, "I want 5,000 volunteers with you by the end of this year." And I was flabbergasted. I said, "How is this even possible? How is this? This looks impossible." Yeah. But then it was not as if he was talking out of thin air, right? He gave me some ideas of how do you want to do it, how should I take this ahead. And in that next 1 year, I just followed what he said to the T. And this is 2014.
Right.
And in the next 1 year, it took me more than 1 year actually, about 1.5 years, my Art of Living programs just snowballed to 100 participants, 250 participants, 500 participants, consistently 500 participants to 1,000 participants. And eventually I was able to take to him a list of 5,000 volunteers.
Wow.
Now the purpose is not telling you that the programs happened or these many volunteers happened. The purpose is knowing that he gave me a dream.
Yeah.
He gave me a dream which I thought in my capacity was impossible. And that is what I have realized being with a master, with a guru. A guru, you just have to be available. The guru will make you capable.
Interesting. And I think that's the quality of a great leader, a great mentor, is to spot the potential in who they are mentoring, in a mentee, and have them live up to that potential.
Yeah.
A lot of people miss that mentorship opportunity. How important is that in life?
I think that's very important in the sense that you have to be in that space of, I don't know. Sometimes a lot of people live with that space of, very early in their life, they come into that space of, I know, been there, done that. That doesn't work. If you stay in that space of, I don't know, I still need to learn, then you will start looking out for a teacher. But as our scriptures say, that when you are ready, it is the master that finds you. So basically, how the universe functions, how the nature functions is, when you are getting ready from the inside, the right teacher will appear in your life. That's the beauty of it.
Interesting. So it's again at the level of the mind.
It's again at the level of the mind.
So there are two things which are standing out from this conversation. One is the mindset is very important, right? How you approach life is very important. And the second thing that's coming up again and again is to be able to have a vision and a dream for your own life, right? Because I feel there is nobody outside who can do it for you, for people who are listening, right? Nobody can save you but yourself.
Yeah, but having a coach,
Yes.
having a coach, having a guru, having a master, kind of can take you to places which you may have felt that you do not even deserve.
Right. So to put it differently, what I meant was the first step. Like you have to realize that you have to be intelligent enough to spot these right opportunities. And once you take that first step, then the right people, the right teachers, the right mentors, and a guru can show up in your life.
Absolutely.
But the first step has to be you being open to it,
Indeed, indeed.
right?
That's why it is said you be a sincere seeker. Both these aspects. You spoke about seeking.
Right.
Basically, having that open mind, having that attitude to learn, and being in that space of I may know something, but I do not know everything. Yeah. So I don't know that I don't know with a wonder.
Yeah.
Yes. So that is the seeker, and adding a little bit of sincerity there will kind of take you leaps and bounds. Everybody is looking out for that one single quality which is called sincerity. Whether it is in material life, whether it is in spiritual life, whether it is in social life, whether it is in family life, if you are sincere to what you are doing, then there is no limit.
Yeah. And sincerity also sometimes means that you just show up, be your 100%, and do your best. And accepting, if you're not able to do it, just acknowledging and accepting that, okay, this is what I could do. That also, sometimes accepting your insincerity is a sign of sincerity.
Absolutely.
Right.
Being true to yourself.
Being true to yourself. But I think on that powerful note, we'll call this a conversation. But I feel we have to sit down for a part 2 very soon. I want to talk about your journey. Maybe we can talk a little bit. You have taught, you work with CXOs all across the world, right? 20 countries and more and counting. What is a common thing that you have seen in people from different cultures across the world, right? As humanity is moving forward, right? Like there is one sense of identity which is, I'm from India, or I live in the US, or I'm from this place or that place. And then there is another sense of identity which is more from the space of I'm a human, right? Where do you think the world is heading, right? What's the common theme that you notice across the cultures? And yeah.
Yeah, so see, definitely the world is heading towards transformation. There's a big transformation that's in store. While interacting with people from different origins, different cultures, I have seen that if you interact to them with that space of adding value to their lives, they respond. If you are genuinely looking at making a connection with them, they will respond irrespective of the semantics around cultural behaviors. But love is that language that binds everybody. Love is that thread that is binding all the beads together, and that is what Gurudev is doing across the world. He is initiating that love inside a greater population, so that identity of love wins over religion. It wins over how I do my things, how I how do I practice different things, what is right, what is wrong. If that identity of love wins over these smaller aspects of life, then we have a beautiful world.
Wow. Well, thank you so much for taking out the time to join us for this conversation. And thank you to all our listeners. If you're listening to this episode right now, why don't you go ahead and share what is one thing that you have learned from this episode? There might be many things, and if the list is long, we don't mind. Go ahead and start commenting. What have you learned from this episode? When you share that, when you share what you have learned, you get the opportunity to integrate that into your life. Take care, everybody. See you later. Have fun.
Hey, a quick pause. I want to share a resource I've personally trusted for years. And when it comes to living well, not just in moments of meditation or reflection, but in everyday life. What we put into our bodies matters deeply. And that is why I love Shri Shri Tattva. It's a brand rooted in authentic Ayurveda, from daily wellness supplements to natural personal care, all crafted with ancient wisdom and modern purity. No shortcuts, no hypes, just products that support real well-being from the inside out. For me, it's all about alignment between what I practice and what I teach and how I live. And Shri Shri Tattva helps me bring some of that care into my daily routine. You can explore their offerings at shrishritattvausa.com. I highly recommend checking them out. The link is also in my description below. I want to share something I've been personally loving. Shankara's Ghee Sutra is one of those rare products where ancient wisdom meets modern skincare. It's crafted from ghee that's churned 10,000 times. Yes, 10,000. Blended with Ayurvedic botanicals like hibiscus, bamboo, and it penetrates deep, up to 7 layers, to nourish, hydrate, and bring your skin back to life. No harsh chemicals, no surface level fixes, just deep, authentic care from the inside out, like everything we talk about on this show. You can check it out at shankara.com